Every planet in our solar system is hiding something strange, not science fiction strange, real, measured, confirmed by actual spacecraft. A planet where the sun rises in the wrong direction, a moon-sized world with a magnetic field so twisted it barely makes sense, a place where diamonds might genuinely fall from the sky like rain. We have 8 planets orbiting the same star, built from the same swirling cloud of dust billions of years ago, and somehow every single one of them turned out to be a little bit insane. And these aren't rare, one-off oddities either. One detail that completely breaks whatever mental image most people carry around of a normal planet, the kind of detail that sounds made up until you check the source and realize it isn't. Let's go planet by planet, starting closest to the sun, and dig up the one secret from each world that sounds too strange to actually be true. Start with Mercury, the smallest planet and the closest to the sun. You would assume it's the hottest world in the solar system, sitting that close to a burning star. It is not. Venus holds that title, and we will get there in a moment. Mercury's real secret is how violently it swings between extremes. Because it has almost no atmosphere to trap or spread heat, daytime temperatures can soar past 400 degrees Celsius, while nighttime on the very same spot can plunge to nearly negative 180. That is one of the largest temperature swings of any world we know, hot enough to melt lead in daylight, cold enough to freeze it solid by midnight. Mercury is also shrinking. Its iron core has been slowly cooling and contracting for billions of years, wrinkling the planet's crust into cliffs hundreds of kilometers long, like a piece of fruit slowly drying out and creasing in on itself. And despite baking, under direct sunlight for most of its surface, Mercury hides something almost impossible near its poles. Deep inside, permanently shadowed craters where sunlight never reaches, scientists have found evidence of actual water ice, sitting quietly in the darkness just kilometers away from some of the hottest ground in the entire solar system. A strange coexistence of fire and ice on the same tiny world. Next comes Venus, and if any planet deserves the title of the weirdest world in the solar system, it's this one. Venus spins backwards. Not tilted, not wobbling, actually rotating in the opposite direction to almost every other planet, including Earth. And it spins so slowly, it takes about 243 Earth days to complete, while its year, one full trip around the sun, only takes around 225 days. Read that again. A day on Venus is longer than its entire year. If you stood on its surface, which you absolutely could not survive, the sun would rise in the west and crawl agonizingly slowly across the sky, and the surface itself is a nightmare regardless. Crushing pressure 90 times stronger than Earth's, temperatures over 460 degrees Celsius, thanks to a runaway greenhouse effect, and clouds made not of water vapor, but of sulfuric acid. Even stranger, high above those brutal surface conditions, Venus's upper atmosphere whips around the entire planet in just about 4 Earth days, a phenomenon called super rotation, meaning the clouds circle Venus dramatically faster than the solid planet underneath them ever does. Then there's Earth, our home, and it's easy to assume our own planet has no secrets left to tell, except Earth's biggest secret might be the one thing keeping us alive at all. Deep beneath our feet, a churning ocean of molten iron generates a magnetic field that wraps around the entire planet, deflecting most of the sun's dangerous radiation before it ever reaches the surface. Without that invisible shield, solar wind would likely have stripped away our atmosphere the same way it stripped away Mars, billions of years ago. Earth is also the only planet we know of where liquid water pools openly on the surface, where plate tectonics constantly recycle the crust, and where, as far as every telescope and probe we've ever built can tell, life actually exists. In a solar system this extreme, that alone might be the strangest fact of all. And Earth's magnetic field isn't even fixed in place. It quietly wanders, drifts, and occasionally flips entirely, with the north and south magnetic poles swapping positions roughly every few 100,000 years, a process recorded permanently in the magnetic minerals frozen inside our own ocean floors. Moving outward, we reach Mars, the red planet, and its most fascinating secret is that it used to look a lot more like Earth than anyone expected. Ancient riverbeds, dry lake, basins, and mineral deposits that only form in the presence of liquid water are scattered across its surface, evidence that Mars once had flowing rivers and maybe even oceans, billions of years ago. But Mars lost its global magnetic field early in its history and without away its atmosphere over hundreds of millions of years, leaving the thin, cold, mostly carbon dioxide shell it has today. Mars also holds the largest volcano and the largest canyon in the entire solar system. Olympus? Mons stands nearly 3 times taller than Mount Everest, and Valles Marineris stretches long enough to cross the continental United States. And on quiet afternoons, thanks to fine dust suspended in its atmosphere, sunsets on Mars actually appear blue, the exact opposite of the warm colors we're used to here on Earth. Mars is also home to some of the largest dust storms in the solar system, occasionally growing powerful enough to swallow the entire planet at once, blotting out sunlight from pole to pole for weeks and sometimes months at a stretch. Now we cross into the outer solar system, and things get genuinely bizarre, starting with Jupiter. It is so massive that more than 1,300 Earths could fit inside it, and its gravity is so strong that many astronomers believe it acts like a cosmic bodyguard, pulling in or flinging away comets and asteroids that might otherwise threaten the inner planets, including us. Jupiter's most famous feature, the Great Red Spot, is a storm larger than Earth itself that has been raging continuously for at least a few hundred years, and possibly much longer. But dig deeper into Jupiter, literally, and the planet. The crushing pressure becomes so extreme that hydrogen gas is squeezed into a strange liquid metallic state, a form of matter that barely exists anywhere else in the universe, and it's this metallic hydrogen ocean that generates Jupiter's magnetic field, the most powerful of any planet in the solar system, stretching for millions of kilometers into space, so large that if human eyes could actually see magnetic fields, Jupiter's would appear bigger in our sky than the full moon. Jupiter also holds more moons than any other planet discovered so far, well over 90. Confirmed worlds circling it, including Ganymede, which is larger than the planet Mercury itself, and Europa, an icy moon. Many scientists consider one of the best places in the entire solar system to search for alien life, thanks to a vast liquid ocean believed to be hiding beneath its frozen surface. Then there's Saturn, instantly recognizable for its rings, but the rings themselves hide a strange fact most people never learn. Despite being the second largest planet in the solar system, Saturn is so light for its size that if holded, Saturn would actually float. Its average density is lower than water, a genuinely strange trait for a planet nearly 100 times more massive than Earth, and one that comes down almost entirely to Saturn being built from an enormous puffed-up ball of hydrogen and helium, rather than dense rock and metal. Saturn also has one of the strangest storm systems ever recorded, a massive, perfectly geometric hexagon-shaped jet stream swirling around its north pole, wide enough to fit multiple Earths inside it, and scientists still don't fully agree on exactly why it forms in such a precise geometric shape. And deep beneath Saturn's clouds, in conditions similar to Jupiter, scientists believe it may genuinely rain diamonds, carbon compressed by immense pressure into solid, crystallized gemstones, falling endlessly through the planet's interior. Saturn's rings themselves add another layer of strangeness, since they aren't solid at all. They're made of countless individual chunks of ice and rock, ranging from grains of dust to boulders the size of a house, all orbiting together in a disk so wide it could stretch most of the way from Earth to the Moon, yet so thin that in places it's barely taller than a few dozen meters. Next is Uranus, and this is the planet most people underestimate the hardest. Long ago, something catastrophic slammed into Uranus, an impact so violent it knocked the entire planet onto its side. Today, Uranus doesn't spin upright like the other planets. It rolls around the sun on its axis, tilted at a staggering 98 degrees, essentially spinning like a ball rolling down a hallway rather than a top spinning in place, an orientation completely unlike any other major planet in the entire solar system. This means each pole gets around 42 years of continuous sunlight, followed by 42 years of complete darkness, one of the strangest and slowest day-night cycles of any planet we know. Uranus is also an ice giant, meaning beneath its pale blue haze lies a slushy mix of water, ammonia, and methane. And just like Saturn and Neptune, scientists believe pressure deep inside may be compressing carbon into diamonds as well. An entire planet potentially raining gemstones no human will ever collect. Uranus also holds the record for the coldest atmosphere of any Neptune, which sits much further from the sun. A strange fact scientists still can't fully explain, possibly linked to the same ancient impact that knocked the planet onto its side in the first place. And finally, Neptune, the most distant planet from the sun and home to the fastest winds ever recorded anywhere in the solar system. Storms here have been clocked at speeds beyond 2,000 kilometers per hour, powerful enough to make even Jupiter's Great Red Spot look calm by comparison, and strange enough that scientists still debate exactly what powers winds that intense on a planet receiving so little sunlight and warmth. What makes this even stranger is that Neptune sits so far from the sun that it receives barely any warmth at all, and yet it somehow radiates more energy than it actually absorbs from sunlight. Some scientists believe this hidden extra heat may come from exactly the same diamond rain process happening on Uranus, with falling diamonds releasing friction and gravitational energy deep in the planet's core as they sink. Neptune was also the first planet discovered not by accident, but through mathematics alone, predicted to exist based on strange wobbles in the orbit of Uranus, before anyone had ever actually pointed a telescope at it and seen it for themselves, turning Neptune into one of the few major discoveries in history made first on paper and only afterward confirmed in the night sky, a genuine triumph of pure mathematics over guesswork. Neptune's largest moon, Triton, adds one more twist to the story, since it orbits the planet backwards compared to Neptune's own rotation, a strong hint that Triton wasn't born alongside Neptune at all, but was instead captured from the distant, icy Kuiper belt sometime long ago. And if we stretch just a little further, past the most talked about worlds in our solar system, despite losing its official planet status decades ago, its most striking secret sits right on its surface, a massive, pale, heart-shaped region of frozen nitrogen ice roughly the size of Texas, discovered when NASA's New Horizons probe finally flew past it in 2015 after a 9-year journey across the solar system. Beneath that icy heart, scientists now suspect there may even be a liquid ocean, hidden far below the frozen crust of a world once dismissed as nothing more than a frozen rock at the edge of everything. Pluto even has a strange relationship with its largest moon, Charon, since the two worlds are so close in size and mass that they don't simply orbit one another the normal way. Instead, they both circle a shared point in empty space between them, locked together in a slow cosmic dance that makes Pluto and Charon feel less like a planet and its moon, and more like a genuine double world. Step back and look at all 8 worlds together, and the real secret of the solar system isn't hiding on any single planet at all. It's the sheer, almost unbelievable range of extremes packed into one small cosmic neighborhood. A planet spinning backwards, a planet tilted completely on its side, storms, bigger than entire worlds, and skies that might genuinely rain diamonds. And somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, one small, blue, remarkably ordinary-looking planet, quietly running the only known experiment of life in the entire system. Every strange fact we've covered today came from real missions, real spacecraft, and real measurements taken across decades of patient exploration, not guesswork, which somehow makes all of it feel even stranger to actually sit with and process. If any of these secrets caught you off guard, that's exactly why this channel exists. So go ahead and like this video, and subscribe if you want more of the solar system's strangest facts explained like this. Which planet's secret surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments, because honestly, after digging out through all 8 of these worlds, Venus and Uranus are still fighting for the top spot in my own head. And I have a feeling the comments are about to get pretty divided on this one too.